You ever get a sense of deja vu? You ever get a sense of deja vu? I'm John Spade. This is the egg for November 11th, 2010. Of course, today is Remembrance Day. If you live in the States, it's Veterans Day, and it's a moment where we take a day out to sort of reflect on life, on liberty, on freedom, on all the reasons why we're here and we enjoy democracy in this day and age. And granted, it gets harder, I think, for each generation to truly appreciate what got us to this point and not to take it for granted. I have to say, even at my age and having, recollections of wars past from a childhood where it was something that was frequently discussed amongst the older people in the room, I do have a tendency to take it for granted. I think we all do. And it's easy to understand why younger people coming up could take it for granted because they're so far removed. I mean, their only real connection to war and everything that goes along with war is what they get in the press, and that has to deal with Afghanistan, Iraq, conflicts that we're pretty far removed from, unless you're actually connected via the military and you're over there and you're fighting it. And we can't understand. I mean, I know people that have fought in wars. I know one person in particular, elderly gentleman now, and he deals with a lot of issues in regards to what he witnessed and an injury that he has to deal with daily, and something called post-traumatic stress disorder. And we can't truly appreciate, I guess, the sacrifice that these people make because we haven't been there. So fortunately, we have a day like today where, you're kind of asked to reflect on what these people have done for us and hopefully appreciate the freedoms and the liberties that you have and that you take for granted every day. And I know I wish I spent more days actually appreciate what I have. And I don't always. I mean, I have a tendency to dwell on bullshit that doesn't really matter because, it's, I guess it's what we do. And it's really hard for us to appreciate the good things in life. Hopefully you'll take some time today to think about those things, as I am going to do. So today I want to talk about past life, reincarnation, the things of folklore that science is trying to get a handle on but can't, and why we can't explain how people take a prodigy, for example, a 2 or 3 year old person who can sit down at a piano and play concertos that would take an average human being a lifetime to figure out. Now, is that past life regression? Are they bringing something from another life? Or are they just that brilliant that they've absolutely been able to decipher the code that is music or whatever else that they excel at in this lifetime? The Dalai Lama. It's believed in their faith that this is a gentleman who is reincarnated year after year, well, not century after century, life after life. I find it interesting that the Dalai Lama always comes back as a man. And they've got a process for figuring out who this person is. And granted, the Dalai Lama is a wonderful figurehead for a, religious faith and for tolerance around the world. And, when he speaks, he engages. And I think for humanity, he's a great representative. Is he actually the reincarnation of past Dalai Lamas? We have no scientific way to prove that. So again, as with any other religion, it becomes a leap of faith. But what are these residual memories that we carry forward with us? Are they memories that we're carrying from when we were a soul in a past body? Um, or are they just genetic markers that are passed on from one generation to the next? So basically my great 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 grandparents who lived in another time and another life, they put a stamp on DNA that has come to me, and now I carry sort of these vague recollections of what it would be like to live um, a different life in Scotland in the 1700s. Or is it just flights of fantasies in one's imagination? And what really gets me thinking about stuff like this, because I love the fact, if you talk to anybody that buys into past life regression, and I know a couple of people who have talked candidly with me about it, why is it that their lives 400 or 500 years ago are always lives that you could only imagine in a movie? I was a king, I was a princess, I was born of great wealth, I was a warrior. Nobody was cleaning toilets back then, or were one of the many lepers, or, you know, if there is such a thing as past life regression, if we keep coming back, I would like to think that the experience is always going to be uniquely different, because we're here to experience life as a whole. And if there's a finite number of souls in the universe, I can't imagine that we would keep coming back to repeat the same things over and over again. There's a part of me that believes, and I do sort of buy into the idea that the soul that inhabits this body is uniquely me, and that I've probably been here before, but I'm here to experience everything, the good, the bad, the ugly, and suffering, because that's, I think, the human psyche. It's a big part of who we are and why we're here, and it's to appreciate the euphoria, the highs of the good in life, but to also really reflect on the suffering and the pain that comes with everybody's life. And we all have it. We all suffer in one way or another, whether it's physically due to health, whether it's emotionally. We all carry our own crosses, our own burdens. And nobody is immune to it. No matter who you are, no matter how much money you have, no matter how little money you have, we all carry pretty substantial burdens. And I think it's how we deal with it in this life, and what we do. Do we escape from it? Do we accept our lot? Everybody's got their own way of functioning and dealing with pain and suffering. Is there an argument? Will we ever get to a point where science will show that we actually do carry on and come from, one life to another to another? Personally, I don't think we're ever going to see that, because it's a pretty spiritual thing. I think it requires a leap of faith. I'm not sure science will ever be able to come up with a mathematical equation that definitively shows that I've been here, on this planet for as long as man's been here, or that you have, or that there's new souls or old souls. I think it's just what it is. Flights of fancy. And maybe that's why faith is so important. I'm John Spade. This is my egg for today. Remember, lest we forget.